"Ma'am, you need to step aside. Now!" The gate agent's voice cut through the crowded terminal. Sharp and cold, a mother holding her sleeping toddler froze, confusion flashing across her face. Whispers spread. Eyes followed. The woman's skin color seemed to decide everything. The airline staff smirked, convinced she was nobody, just another passenger they could brush away. But in 7 minutes, they'd realize who she really was and how their arrogance would cost them $500 million. Have you ever been dismissed by someone who had no idea who you truly were? Tell us in the comments. Before we begin, hit subscribe. It's appreciated. Monica Harris was no stranger to airports. As a seasoned business strategist, she'd flown across continents more times than she could count. Her days were filled with boardrooms and contracts, her evenings with bedtime stories for her 4-year-old daughter, Ava. Tonight's trip was meant to be simple. A late flight home after sealing the biggest deal of her career. A quiet return to the life she loved. She arrived early. Her little girl curled against her shoulder, clutching a worn teddy bear. The hum of announcements and rolling suitcases felt routine, almost soothing. Monica's life balanced 2 worlds. High-stakes negotiations by day, tender motherhood by night. Few knew how much she carried, how carefully she kept it all together. But beneath the calm surface of the terminal, tension was waiting. A few curious stares followed her as she approached the gate. A glance here, a raised eyebrow there. Monica noticed, but she brushed it off. Travel fatigue, she told herself. The evening sky beyond the glass turned from pale blue to ink black, the runway lights flickering like restless stars. As boarding time approached, Ava stirred in her arms, mumbling softly. Monica adjusted her bag, ready to present her first-class ticket. She thought only of home, of the warm bed waiting, of the quiet drive from the airport. Yet something in the air felt different. A hushed conversation behind the counter. A look exchanged between 2 staff members that lingered too long. Monica's intuition tightened like a knot. She had closed deals worth millions with a steady hand, but tonight, a single glance made her stomach twist. What would you do if you sensed something was wrong but couldn't quite name it? The first announcement sounded routine, but Monica sensed the shift immediately. "Final boarding call for Flight 472. She stepped forward, Ava's tiny arms wrapped around her neck. The gate agent barely glanced up as she scanned Monica's ticket, then frowned. "There's an issue with your seat," the agent said flatly. No explanation, just a pause that stretched like a wire pulled too tight. Monica kept her voice calm. "This is a confirmed first-class ticket." "What issue?" The agent's eyes flicked to Ava, then back to Monica's face. "Please step aside." Passengers behind them watched. A man in a business suit sighed impatiently. Someone whispered, "Probably stand by." Her chest tightened. She could feel the judgment in every stare. Monica tried again, firmer this time, but the agent shook her head. "I need to speak with my supervisor." Minutes ticked by. Another agent appeared, carrying a clipboard and a look of quiet authority. He didn't greet her. He didn't explain. He simply said, "Ma'am, you'll need to exit the boarding area. Now." The words struck like a slap. Monica's pulse pounded. "Excuse me? My ticket is valid. My child is tired. We're boarding this flight." The supervisor's expression hardened. "You're not flying tonight. Please remove yourself before security is called." A hush fell over the gate. Monica felt every eye burn into her skin. She was a mother, a paying customer, a professional who had just closed a contract worth more than this airline's monthly revenue. And yet in their eyes, she was nothing but a problem to be removed. She swallowed the rising anger, the humiliation. Ava whimpered, burying her face deeper into Monica's shoulder. Monica steadied her breathing, the weight of years of quiet resilience pressing in. Her mind raced. Should she demand an explanation? Should she shout, record, call a lawyer? But another voice whispered, a lifetime of warnings from her parents, friends, colleagues. Stay calm. Don't give them a reason. Security officers approached, their uniforms crisp, their gazes cold. "Is there a problem here?" one asked, though his tone suggested he'd already chosen a side. Passengers shifted, some pretending not to watch, others staring openly. Monica felt the humiliation sharpen into something heavier, rage and a quiet, unshakable resolve. As they escorted her toward the terminal's edge, she caught her reflection in the darkened window. A mother, a leader, a woman who had just secured a $500 million partnership deal earlier that day. A woman the airline clearly did not recognize. Her phone buzzed in her bag. A message from her company's CEO lit the screen. "Congratulations on the deal. The client is thrilled. Our future is set." Monica glanced at the security officers. They had no idea. No idea that their next words, their next action, were about to set off a storm that would cost their airline more than they could ever imagine. And as she stepped back into the main terminal, humiliation simmering into strategy, Monica decided they would learn exactly who they had dismissed. The next morning, Monica's world shifted from quiet resolve to calculated action. She sat in her hotel suite, sunlight pouring through the curtains, her daughter still asleep. Her phone was already buzzing with messages from executives and partners congratulating her on the historic $500 million deal she had closed just hours before the humiliation at the gate. Monica opened her laptop and began to type short, precise emails to the airline's corporate office, copying every major news outlet and the international firm that had signed the multi-million-dollar contract. Attached were the flight details, the boarding pass, and a brief account of the discrimination she had faced. No anger in her words, only facts sharp as glass. By mid-morning, her phone rang. It was the airline's regional director, his voice tight with panic. "Miss Harris, please accept our deepest—" She cut him off. "Your apology means nothing. I am canceling the partnership deal with your airline effective immediately. Our corporation will not work with a company that treats customers this way." Silence. Then frantic assurances. Offers of compensation, first-class upgrades for life, personal apologies. She declined each one. Within hours, the story exploded online. Headlines screamed about the powerful executive who was humiliated while traveling with her child. Social media erupted. Hashtags trended worldwide. The airline's stock began to slip as investors demanded answers. By evening, executives who had once ignored her were calling non-stop, begging for a meeting. Cameras swarmed the terminal where it all began. But Monica refused to be their photo op. She wasn't interested in empty gestures. As night fell, she held Ava close and whispered a silent promise. This wasn't just about her anymore. This was about every traveler who had been judged, every mother who had been dismissed, every person whose worth had been measured by skin rather than soul. What do you think happens when a billion-dollar corporation realizes it just lost $500 million over a single act of prejudice? The fallout was immediate and unstoppable. By the end of the week, the airline's public image was in free fall. Investors pulling out, customers canceling flights, major partners demanding answers. News outlets replayed Monica's story across every screen. The image of a quiet mother and her child standing against corporate arrogance, becoming a symbol far bigger than one humiliating night. Monica never raised her voice, never sought revenge. Instead, she redirected the $500 million deal to a rival carrier known for equity and respect. Her decision sent a message that echoed through boardrooms worldwide. Dignity is not optional, and discrimination carries a price tag that no company can afford. In interviews, Monica spoke softly but firmly. "This wasn't just about me," she said. "It's about every person who's been told they don't belong, about a system that assumes power excuses prejudice. We don't have to accept it. We can choose better." Her words traveled far beyond the airline industry. Other corporations began reviewing policies, rethinking training, and confronting the biases that had gone unchecked for too long. Travelers shared their own experiences, sparking a movement that demanded change from the ground up. Monica's life returned to its rhythm: meetings, bedtime stories, quiet moments with Ava. But nothing was the same. She had shown that silence is never the answer, that respect must be earned and protected. How many more companies will need to be reminded that humanity comes before profit? What would you do if you witnessed injustice unfolding before your eyes? Show some love with a like and subscribe to stay inspired.